Hello, John Dewar here, and echo. And here today with look at this here, a little spigot for your bathtub, right? The main thing is the diverter inside. This has to do with diverting the water from here back up to the shower head. Now some I don't know, older styles, different types will have 3 knobs across, hot, cold, and in the middle each has the diverter you can turn. This one does not. And if yours ever does this here, when you turn it on, and you go like this to pull it up, so the shower works, which shower is working there, okay? That right there is no good. For one, this is a louder system. 2, it lacks, it takes away from the pressure from going up the hose to the shower head. And 3, it's a lot of wasted water. That right there was probably just like 10 bucks of water. And who knows? So, what you have here is a couple ways to do this. One is that these things here, you might want to undo the silicone at here, and it should screw off, or there's a set screw. I don't find anything here, but underneath some of them, yep. There's one in the back of that one there that you can untighten to bring it off. Or there is the changing of the diverter part, which is just up in here. Let's see here if I can show you the inner workings. Up in there, see? So, maybe so there's like 2 prongs around a metal rod type of thing. So I can figure this out again. 2 prongs on a metal rod there. And one try to stretch or pry apart the plastic pieces to see if we can get that thing out of there. First of all, bring it down if it's stuck up. And alright, wetness. Another idea, before you even really turn it too much, is if you have a drain like this one has, which is an open hole, cover it up, like so. Okay, and I'm going to find, I think, a little screwdriver to help with this deal. Okay, so what happened was, you had this little plunger, goes down here, kind of tight because a bunch of soap scum and hard water, and then it went to something like this here, see? Has this notch cut in it, and it has this little other piece of flimsy metal on it. Used to be on the bottom, okay? You get that? And I'll recreate the crime scene here a little bit. Let's see here. Okay, so it's basically like this here. You had this thing like that, and this part here goes towards where the water comes out from the spigot, down here. And I took a smaller screwdriver like this right here. I stuck it in a hole and kind of did some prying, and voila, it came undone, as in it broke this piece of metal off. This is all calcium covered and corroded and bad. But the main thing I was trying to get is this right here. So underneath the bottom there's a couple notches that these sides here slide up in, and so you pull it, it goes up, and this here, is blocking the hole, which to me, the rubber's all offset back. So let me pry that out of there. Yeah. Pry that out of there and there. So we got that there. This here's still good. This here is not. This is actually a shape where it's concaved in here with the rubber out here, which has probably been sheared off enough from being used and, you know, rotten. You see the blackness there. But the important part of this whole messy get up here is the plastic piece I got in my hand. This one. So now I take this and search all over the village here for a replacement kit. And the kit should come with the washer, this plastic piece here, and a new metal rod even. Now for down there, what's going to happen is I'll take a look at it. I'll probably get some maybe a little file or something to just ever so slightly clean off any water, hard water stains, whatever, and yeah, try to make it smooth down there again. Yeah, down here inside that thing, because it's calcified water and stuff like that. If you have hard water in your area, it could be part of the culprits too. Which when I was taking this off a lot of crust, it's really hard to get out of this hole here because it's also crusted over, and yeah, a little bit of cleanup and off to the hardware store. All right, so I was able to go from the part, and time for a little bit of cleanup. Now, in a pinch, because I know this has calcified waters and stuff, salts and whatnot, you can take a screw, like this here, a fine thread or so. You kind of put it in this hole if it's small enough. Just kind of run around and, you know, move up and down to try to get some of the corrosiveness off. Corrosive? No, calcification. Or if you have a place where you can buy something like this here is a 10-piece needle file set. Or if you have a needle file set, this one here, because it shows on the bottom there's different profiles here, right? Yeah, right here, different shapes and stuff. So I got a round one here, and so round one, I'll stick it down this hole and just kind of go around it ever so gingerly. Alright, that's probably pretty good. I'll reach underneath here and fill. A little bit of stuff still hanging on there. So that is not to reshape the hole, it's just to get in there and get the calcification off. Also in this file, there is a flat one. Right, yeah, pretty cool, eh? And so, same kind of thing. So up here there's a hole coming out, and that hole's the one that needs to be blocked. And I already felt it's kind of rough in there, so this right here is going to go flat up against it. And do some of this action. And maybe some on the sides here. There's a groove up in there. Both sides. Okay, you can feel chunks of it coming out, and I will, you know, of course, to get it cleaned out, just do some of that. And it feels a little rough in there still, so I'm going to hit it with the file for a little bit more. And, I mean, it's a hard angle to get at, but, you know, if you have like an inspection mirror or something, I found this mirror here laying around, you can get up there and take a look that way and see the handiwork. So I'll do a little more of that, and we'll be back at it. Okay, should be pretty clean down there. And this is what I ended up getting finally after looking high and low for it. This, the spout diverter repair kit by Everbuilt, right? Probably a name brand. So as you can see there, it has a replacement metal piece, has this plastic part, and has a gasket washer thing. So I'll just open this puppy up here. And before I continue, two things. One, if your files get wet with water, dry them off. And two, get that hole covered again. And don't drop your file in the hole, that'd be horrible. So, pop this stuff out of here. This one here has a spring, which I'm assuming the other one has a spring at one time too. So, and this here is kind of a culprit. This is, I don't know, this is, it seems so cheap, this little rubber gasket thing here. Because I don't know if you can see it right there, but it has like a little lip there, and then it has, you know, the front part here has a little raised part, and that raised part on the other one's all rubbed off and gone. So then you got this one here. This one goes into the new, I assume it's nylon piece of this here. So the indented part right here goes in the cup, and what sticks out is just this part here with a slight lip to it. Very slight lip. Alright, so that there's done. And then we have the plunger part. Let's go ahead and test this down there to see how it fits. Not bad. Clean out pretty good. Feels pretty clean. Feels tight still. And let's see here. You insert the rod through the tub spout from the top. Then you insert the see, that's like microprint, right? Microprint. Let's read together. Okay. Insert the rod through the tub spout from the top. Insert the seat into the diverter gate. Remember, the diverter down there has grooves in it. Or not the diverter, the faucet spout has grooves in it. Slip the spring onto the rod from the bottom. Snap the diverter gate into the rod with the seat facing the wall. Okay, so easy peasy sounding. I'll put this one down first, mostly. And then I'm going to actually put the spring on next. And then this here, this goes like this. So the teeth thing at the bottom here. So it's the spring, which will probably, you know, mess up in a few years anyways. Right. And this part here into the grooves. And I'm going to push up and push this down. Till it clicks. Twice. There. Now then, the moment of truth. I will leave the rag down there and see. If you remember, it's horrible when we feel okay, so that is better, ever so slightly, but not quite seeing good. I kind of felt it would be that way. So I had this whole part where I got the replacement, after looking for the store, I got the replacement part, and I cleaned it up with some files, like needle files, and I installed it, and it did not work. It was lousy. So, to replace this whole unit, down at the bottom here, up underneath, you can see up right in here, there's I think an 1/8 inch hex head that I already loosened, and then, because that's kind of a pain working upside down. And the other thing is here that you have this old silicone caulk in here. You gotta take a razor blade and cut through just enough to break the seal on it, and then shimmy it off here. Let me remount it here. I might need both hands for this part of the job. Razor blade. I know it's a little rusty looking that I'm working with right now, and you should always work with a clean razor blade if you have them, just in case you accidentally cut yourself. You don't want to get any infections and stuff. So just right up in there. And I'm turning this out. Ooh, I'm not gonna turn it out of the way. Let's see here. Ta-da! So this one here, I hope has no threads on it. No, this one here looks like it's just a tube. Nice. And inside here, the ugly part, you have your hex head set screw. Where's my finger at? Wrong end. Right there. Hex head set screw that goes up in here, ties on here, and then up in here, boop. You can see there's O-rings up in there, right? So there's O-rings that hold this thing together, at least that part, and I don't know, lousy. But now I know I need to find one like this and not one that's actually threaded on. And I'll take the razor blade there, work right through that. Like here. Get this old silicone off. So, had the kit worked, it would have saved a lot of money, in theory. So, the kit was about $6 and some change, you know, plus taxes. And then the cheapest I saw of these spigots here, looks like $7. No, $7 what I think I used to see. They were like I don't know, 19, 20. You get some higher up brands that are 30s and 40s. So let's see what needs to be done here. Now, I always, after I install this, I'll tell you, I always silicone the top. Right now, I could even silicone this part here. Just make sure no water's getting in the wall. Because, you know, if I turn this on and plug this up, guess what? Look, the shower's starting. But nobody wants to put their finger in this thing while they're taking a shower. So, it's time to go back to the store. That's how I feel right now. Okay, so here we go. Got this metal part here. Okay, has the pin in there. And that part here with the thread is going to stick out. The other part is going to go right up against the wall. Make sure this here has been chamfered and cleaned of any kind of burrs, because you don't want to nick your ring in here. In fact, maybe want a little bit of water on this maybe. Okay. That is going on ever so tightly. And it's back to almost the wall. It says get to the wall, but that's not going to happen here. Now, tighten that up. Not over tight. Just snug it up, they say. Okay, that's tight like that. And a little bit more tight. Now, important thing about that is you want so if it's too loose, and you pull that thing, especially if you turn off your shower head, it might shoot right off. So save your little hex key for someplace later. And next we have some Teflon tape. Where'd it go? Cutest little Teflon tape in the world here. Yeah. So wrap those threads with that. You can find the end of it. Okay. Probably can't see it now, but I'm going to wrap the threads. About that many times. Okay, got that wrapped good. Now then, this one here, the only part that I don't need on this one is this black piece of plastic. That's a reducer if it had threads down there to use. So next I'll use this long piece here, and the big end goes this great big fat washer of sorts. Slide in so it meets the back there. Okay, yep, it feels flush in there. And then this here can be screwed on hand tightened. Now, some people's hands can tighten more than others. And that is good. I feel that's pretty good, hopefully. Okay. Then we Teflon tape that end of the pipe. Duh. Okay. And last but not least, screw this on. And don't cross thread the threads if you can. That's pretty tight, but you want to point this sideways. So that there's probably good. I might get one more run on it. Let's see here. There. No. And don't use the plunger there as a fulcrum. Oh. There, that is good. Now then, it's certainly able to be tested out. Which, let me clean up the mess down there real quick. All right, and we'll test it out. Okay, once again, time to test it out here. A little fire in the hole. That's working good, and no massive leaks back here at all. Now this part. Alrighty, so wash down some of the dust and the particles. The small ones, the big ones you got to pick up and put in the trash, right? There we go. And then this one here has a pause thing. I'll pause on this thing here. There. Now, really check for leaks. Nope. Oops. No leaks there. Turn it off. The thing pops down because it has a spring in it. And almost finished here. I'm going to do a little drying on this this wall here first. Okay, so now we got that cleaned up and dried. Make sure it's dry and clean. And now it's time for some 100%. I'm going to use a gloss white silicone caulking on it. If I can get the tip off of here. And that will take some time to dry, of course. There we go. Let's see now. This has been cut at a small tip, so I'm going to do the around the spigot. It says it's coming out here. All right, good. Gotta come out wildfire now. And basically, try to force it in. There. And do some from underneath here. Okay, and I'll do the other side too, a little bit more awkward from this position, and then get in there and fill that crack up I did at the bottom. Okay, so there it is, like that, but with a little tool here, this one guy here, I'm going to go in there and smooth that part out. It's pretty simple. Like so. And of course I'll add more to it and do the other side too. But what I don't do is I don't do right underneath here. I leave a little bit so in case water is coming from that thing, it's going to drip out from the bottom of it. But water from the top should be able to get into it down there. All right, so there it is. Watertight, right? And it works. But now that we've applied the silicone caulking there, around the top of it there, and some of the cracks in places, sure you could use a little bit more in this shower work on. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm here for just that. And that's done now. So any questions or comments, put them down below. And yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see how this video turns out after editing. Hot Tub Doer, out.